1 second. And people are sending in questions already, and everyone is excited. Okay, boom, perfect. And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast this afternoon. We have an incredible guest with us, one who is going to give us some amazing information as well as inspiration, and that is none other than Minister Akbar Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum salam, my brother.
This means a great deal to myself, my family, and the viewing audience. We are very humbled to have you with us this afternoon, and we want to get straight into it, sir. Um, we have watched you. Well, I've watched you my entire life, and many of us have watched you since we accepted Islam. I don't know. When was the first time that you heard the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, sir?
First, Josh, I want to thank you very much for having me on this show, and especially in this critical time of what's happening in America and the world. I first heard the teachings in 1960 in New York City. Brother challenged me, who lived in my neighborhood out in Hollis, Queens, on going to the mosque. He said he had been to the Black Muslim place, and he challenged me to go, and I went, and that's when I first heard the teaching in 1960.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. Well, what was it about the teachings that made you accept the teachings?
Well, I think my first visit, I accepted on that first visit because of circumstances. It wasn't that I had understood everything. All I know is that the minister who spoke was Minister Wallace Muhammad, who was the minister in Philadelphia. Malcolm had went out of town, and Malcolm always had the ability to keep the mosque full on Sundays in particular. And he would invite what we called in those days heavy hitters. One of the heavy hitters for him was Lewis X from Boston. And Wallace Muhammad, who was the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's son, and he was the minister of Philadelphia. That Sunday he was speaking. So when he finished his lecture, I just thought it was a strange place, the checking and all of the brothers looking with firm faces. He took a Bible and threw it down on the ground, and everybody on the front row jumped. And he said, "Look at you Negroes, afraid to death. You thought a lightning bolt was going to hit me through the ceiling." And when they asked for acceptance, I had no intentions of getting up, but I looked at the two brothers on front rostrum posts, looking like they were eating nails. And I said, maybe I better get up. They may jump on me. And that's how I got up and ended up accepting that day.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. And I want to make sure, Brother Minister, that I thank you on behalf of myself, my family, and the viewing audience for your sacrifice and the sacrifice of your family for helping to establish Islam here in the West. We stand on your shoulders, and we are eternally grateful for the work that you have done and to help rebuild the nation of Islam. We'll build the nation of Islam and then rebuild it, of course, after 75. What was it like for you to meet the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad?
It was in April of 1992. 1972. Minister Farrakhan had to go and make a report to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad on what had happened when the police raided our mosque. And he asked the messenger if I could come with him. I was his assistant, his top assistant. And that's how I got to Chicago and got to the dinner table. I went to his dinner table on two occasions. But I thank Allah for the minister bringing me to meet my leading teacher. And it was an awesome experience, quite naturally. I'll never forget it because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad at the table talked about jail, the whole meeting talked about jail and so forth. And I'll never forget how when we left the house and got into our ride to our hotel, Minister Farrakhan said, well, he's talking about jail quite a bit. You think that we may be going to jail, and he's preparing us for it. But it was a great meeting. I thank the minister for it. The second visit to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was that same year. And when we got there and got to the table, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, he asked me, he looked at me, he said, "Do you talk?" Because I was quiet. Quite naturally, I'm not going to say anything at his table.
Yes, sir.
And I said, "Yes, sir, the apostle." He said, "Okay, well, if you talk, this meeting is not for people who talk, so I'm going to let you wait outside." And that's the way he excused me from that meeting.
Mm.
And when he came out and he greeted me again, and I said, "The apostle, I wanted to ask you a question." And he said, "Yes." I said, "Would you allow the believers in New York to get a home for the minister? The home that he's in is very small for him and his family." And he waved his hand to me. "Of course, go ahead and get a home for my minister."
Mm.
And, I was on fire after that, heading back to New York so I could announce that to the believers. But those are things that are etched in my memory, and I'm humbled by it and forever grateful to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan for giving me that kind of opportunity and taking me to see my leader.
All praises due to Allah. Yes, sir. And what was the most Honorable Elijah Muhammad wearing, and what did you wear when you were at the dinner table, sir?
Well, he was wearing a dark suit. I remember it's either navy blue or black. He had a bow tie on. I had a suit. I can't remember what color it was, and I don't know if I had a necktie or a bow tie, but we were all dressed, uh, in class A.
Yes, sir. Amazing. What? How did your family and friends feel about you uh, joining the Nation of Islam?
Well, first, my mother didn't understand it, and so she was opposed to it. And some of my actions that I took, and I'm going to detail it in my next book. But when I first heard the teaching and heard about the hog, I came home and threw out all of her pork in the refrigerator. And she said, she's telling the family, "Lord, my son has gone crazy. I'm messing with them Muslims and throwing my food out. I paid a lot of money for that food," and so forth. And I was just a little radical. I didn't have the balance that I later developed as a follower of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And for me throwing out her food, I guess later on in life, I had to apologize with her and say, "Mom, that was my enthusiasm to get you all to stop eating pork."
Mm. Yes, sir. Well, brother minister, what advice would you give to the younger generations on how to handle or deal with their family when they first come, when they accept the teachings and their family has not?
Well, they have to be balanced. As you can see by what I said, I wasn't balanced because I could have talked to my mother and told her that, I've been attending the mosque, the Muslim meeting, as she would say, and they were telling us the danger of the pig and why we eat so much pig, going back to the days of slavery. If I was balanced and just talked to her. So that same advice I would give to the new followers today. When they come into the nation, it's a matter of balance. With all that's going on, you have to be balanced and show appreciation with your family. I learned a lot because I was so busy and involved in the nation and fishing and going after people that I neglected my family. Basically, my mother, I didn't go by to see her as often, always tell I had some duty. But for the new believers today, you have to be balanced, and especially your mother and your family, because they don't understand. They haven't been taught what you have beginning to learn as a Muslim, and so I think that that balance is good. And my mother grew to love the nation, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Minister Farrakhan. She grew to love him because she saw the unbelievable change in her son, and things that I was doing before I became a Muslim. I just put them down instantly and stopped doing them. And she was very happy with that. So the young brothers, my advice is to look at circumstances around you, the young brothers and sisters, and use what you learn in such a way that they can appreciate the change that you've made in your lifestyle.
All praise due to Allah. Excellent response, sir. And thank you. And thank everyone who continues to watch the People's Podcast. We are grateful for all of your comments and showing you love, sir. My next question for you is I was speaking to someone the other day about a documentary on Malcolm X on Netflix, and you were on the documentary. What was it like to have a firsthand experience of being in New York during the time of Minister Malcolm X? And what was your relationship like with him?
Well, it was a great experience. There was a lot going on at the time that I came in the nation, and I can't profess that I understood all of the dynamics that were going on. But Malcolm opened a ministry class, and the average brother or sister who comes in at that time was mainly brothers and sits on the front row and listens to the ministers blaze away with this powerful word of truth. They want to do it themselves. They want to be involved in it. And I, like any other brother or sister, I wanted to be involved. So when Malcolm opened his ministry class, he said all of those who wanted to be ministers saw him as a great helper of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And he was trying to make more helpers, knowing that there's a big field out there, and we had to get in that field and use this powerful truth to change the course of lives of our people who were really in bad shape. And so that's how I got to know him in the class and the things that he taught. And then he gave me, in particular, he gave me an opportunity to set up a meeting in Queens. Those who are looking at this and are old enough to remember the St. Albans movie on uh, Linden Boulevard. I think it was on Linden Boulevard. And Malcolm had a meeting there, and he helped me with the flyer that I had the brothers in Queens to work with me and give out. So it was a great experience. And I must say, he taught us a lot. He was involved in getting people to the mosque. And when Minister Farrakhan was assigned to New York by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he did the same thing, making helpers for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And the ministers had ministry classes. We had three of them. And every Tuesday night that he was available, he would come out and teach the brothers. We only had brothers in the class at that time on how to go after our people, how to shape a subject, how to use the Holy Quran and Bible. So I was able to be a helper of Malcolm. I never talked about it after he left the nation much. I just would not want to talk about it because of the pain of Malcolm leaving the nation caused on a lot of us because he was our minister and we loved him.
Great. All praises due to Allah. And thank you for that great history. And thank you for your great, um, just steadfast, being steadfast under those conditions prior to 75. I can't even imagine what it was like during that time period. What was it like working with Imam Warf Deen Muhammad?
Well, the Nation of Islam, it was a leadership. We believe in leadership. So when the Imam came in and we were told that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had passed, and the fact that he was the new leader, we all got in the boat. And many of us may have held out for a little while and so forth, but most of us got in the boat because we wanted to make sure the nation remained intact and we were following what we thought at that time was the new leadership of the Nation of Islam. And I eventually became the special assistant to Imam Muhammad. And I traveled for him and did what was necessary as a Muslim for the nation that I believed in. And that's where my heart and my love was. And he was the new leader. And so we respected that.
Yes, sir. Um, Once the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad departed, how did that affect you personally, and how did it affect your family?
Well, it was a great blow to not only my family and me personally, but the entire nation, um, because people had to feel for where they were. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad never taught us about him leaving us, and the word death, barely mentioned. And we know that we're all born and we all die, but we never looked at the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is going to die and the nation may change direction. We never looked at it like that. And so it impacted all of us. It impacted our children who had only been to a Muslim school, didn't know the public school system. It impacted our family, our mothers, and our families would ask us questions about what's happening in the nation. And we were only praying for the best. And we did what was necessary. When Minister Farrakhan came to New York, he was on us about bringing out the lost found, as we called them, our people. And he came up with creative ways to do it. And one of them was that we sold Muhammad Speaks, and the brothers really sold the paper. And then he came up with a way to give a gift to the brothers who were the top sellers and the brothers who brought the most guests. And those that brought the most guests, we took copies. You may not be able to see it, but this is a copy of the Muhammad Speaks bound. And if you were the top brother going after the lost found fishing, and you would win for that particular month, you were rewarded with bound copies of the Muhammad Speaks. It's thickly bound. I found a brother from Jamaica who was an excellent person to bound books, and we would present it on a Sunday to that brother. And believe me, brothers and sisters wanted this. And so it encouraged them to go and to get guests and bring them to the mosque. The minister was beautiful in the way that he was so creative in terms of us getting people out. Wednesday night, he would announce on Sunday, the mosque is packed on Sunday. He said, this Wednesday night, we're going to have a question and answer period. And all of the questions that you have about the nation and this and that, you come out on Wednesday night. And Wednesday nights were like a Sunday meeting. The
Mm,
house was packed, and
mm,
brothers
mm.
and sisters who were not Muslims were there to hear questions they asked and Minister Farrakhan answering those questions. So this is the ways, and he always would go to places. You know, when he came to New York, those who know, we were accused of killing Malcolm, and it was a hard tree to climb because it was spread. The enemy spread it all over that we killed Malcolm. We killed Malcolm. And people who loved Malcolm had a distaste for us. But Minister Farrakhan weighed into that in unbelievable fashion. And he was able to get people to come out and listen to the other side of the story instead of just the story from the side of our enemy. So that's how we moved on that. And when Imam Muhammad came in, we worked with him till we reached a point that we couldn't feel the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's teaching and work in the direction that he was going. And we began to go in a direction that we thought we could reach out and get our people. I just want to tell this story because I'll forget it later.
Yes, sir.
I was blessed to go to Uganda in 1977 with Minister Farrakhan. And the whole time that we were together, we were discussing the direction of the nation and the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and how we move forward under the circumstances. So Idi Amin allowed us to go all over the country. And those who know Uganda, you know, the Acholis and the Langis and the people who live in the north. And we went to visit that area. And our host, a brother named Juma, he wanted the minister to address the people. These were the Langis. And the language of Uganda, the main language is Swahili.
Mm.
And so the minister had to address them. And so they had to get a translator. And they needed two translators. They needed a translator that would take what the minister was saying from English and translate it into Swahili. And then they had to take it from Swahili to the Langis, to their language. And the minister got up there, he didn't have no notes or nothing. And he did a remarkable job. He got the crowd, they were applauding him. This is through three languages, really. And when we were leaving, his words were, and I can never forget them, they're etched in my consciousness. He said to me, he said, brother, he said, what just happened shows that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad words and his works touch people regardless of where they're at.
Mm.
And that was remarkable because he was speaking through three languages and he moved that crowd with the teaching of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Now, going back, I think we finished with Imam Muhammad,
Yes, sir.
unless you got some more questions.
Oh,
Uh, Joshua has some more questions on it. And
eh,
so, but I just wanted to say that I was blessed to be with the minister and watch that unfold. And as we traveled, uh, we went to from Uganda, we went to Libya, from Libya, we went to Saudi Arabia, and our travels took us to a lot of places in the world. And this is uh, back when everybody was trying to see which way we were going to go as the Nation of Islam. And the minister was like a spark plug for us, making us to look at where we had come from, what we had done so far, and how we keep going in the light of the tremendous change in the Nation of Islam on the departure of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Uh, when we went to Egypt and the minister was there in Egypt, we were actually waiting for the arrival of Idi Amin to the African Arab Summit Conference, the first one um, that was held. And the conference was about how the Arabs and the African can have a marriage so that we could move our communities forward and move the people forward. And so at that particular conference, Idi Amin at the time was like the star of the conference for whatever reason. I can't say I knew, but he was in the news around the world because he had asked all of the Europeans and the Indians to leave Uganda um, for political reasons and the reason that they were there, but they were not helping the people of Uganda. He asked them to leave. And this was all over the world. So we were at the airport waiting for Idi Amin to arrive. He had the biggest press corps to welcome him. Hosni Mubarak, who was the vice president at that time, um, met him at the airport and took him into the conference. It was a great conference put on by the former president of Algeria, Boumediene, and the host on the African side of the conference. I'm trying to call his name, but they had two hosts on each side, one from the Arabs and one from the Africans. And what they talked about is what we could do as a people. Um, the Arabs had the oil, but the Africans had the gold and the soil and the ability to grow crops, enough crops they could grow to feed most of Africa. And they wanted to bring them together. But it was a great meeting. And from there, Minister Farrakhan, we traveled to Saudi Arabia. I want to just go back on the minister's trip because many have not heard this. Um, the minister at Jimmy Carter's inauguration, we were invited to it and so forth. And he met with Alex Haley, and they were trying to do a picture on the life of Malcolm. And there was the script that James Baldwin wrote. And they had some problem with Columbia Picture. They couldn't get it off the ground. So Alex Haley and James Baldwin uh, was not there with us, but his input was if we could raise enough money, we can make the movie ourselves, and we wouldn't have to depend on Columbia or no pictures or no one else. And so the minister, on the day that we were leaving Uganda, we had a meeting with Idi Amin, and the minister told Idi Amin all about it. The life of Malcolm would be a great story for our people to understand how Islam pulled him out of the gutter, and Islam changed the course of his life, and he wanted to tell that story. And so Idi Amin, when we met in Entebbe before we left the country, uh, Idi Amin had us over for breakfast, and the minister told him what he was attempting to do. And Idi Amin said in the meeting, his country, and his circumstances, he doesn't have that kind of money at the present time because they're trying to rebuild. But he said that I have a brother that I will ask. So he picked up the phone. You'll have to picture this now. We're sitting in Entebbe, Uganda, where the airport is, and we're at the guest house for breakfast with Idi Amin. So he picked up the phone and he got Gaddafi on the phone. And he told Gaddafi that he has a brother there that has a great project, and I'd like to send him to see you so he could explain it to you, and perhaps you could help him with this. And Gaddafi told Amin on the phone, yes, send him. And so when we left there, we didn't come back to America or go further with another conference in Saudi Arabia, but we went straight to Libya. And in Libya, we were due to meet on behalf of Idi Amin, we were due to meet Muammar Gaddafi, circumstances and so forth, and we missed the engagement with him. And so we went on to Saudi Arabia, and they had the first Islamic educational conference, and we were invited to that. And the minister went to the conference, and when he left the conference, uh, we headed back to America. So I don't know if my brother has some more questions that he would like to uh, ask them, ask me about this particular engagement. Um, so we're going to take a break here, and then we'll come right back in.
Okay, great. Yes, sir. Well, okay, well, go ahead, sir. And while you're taking a break, I want to do a quick 60-second commercial break for all of the sponsors of the People's Podcast. And thank you all who are continuing to watch this amazing history of the nation, of our nation, and of Minister Akbar and the Most Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and all of those who helped lay the foundation for Islam in the West. If you'd like to be a sponsor or donor of the People's Podcast, please cash at the People's Podcast. We greatly appreciate it. My brother Rashad, Street Premier Media Production. He has a 4K camera and a drone. He does television and film editing. Please reach out to him if you need that. My sister Miriam, ABC I Love Me children's book and coloring book, both of which are available on Amazon. Please go out and get those. My sister Naima, Stay on Point Dance Academy, LLC. She teaches ballet virtually to young girls all across the country and right here in the studio in Atlanta, Georgia. We love our tiny dancers. MTS Car Bros out of the West Coast. Any make, any model, any year, 30 to 50% off. They'll ship vehicles to you anywhere in the country. Please reach out. Sister Rashida Rafat, Raw Communications. If you're working on a book and you need some copy editing, project management, content development, media relations, or consulting, please reach out to our sister, Sister Rashida Rafat. Also out of Houston, Texas, Sister Melva, the Elevated Places. They're an amazing school where I am what God says I am. They make engineers and architects. They just do a great job out of there. We're coming right back to Minister Akbar. Our sister Sherry Muhammad, Asiatic Minds Online School, asiaticminds.com. If you want to send your children virtually, they'll do a great job with that. Brother Kenneth, Bowtie Maker Extraordinaire, he'll ship bow ties to you anywhere in the country. Our brother Warren Fitzgerald, the law offices of Warren Fitzgerald Muhammad out of Houston, Texas, helping our clients get justice due to neglect, injuries of neglect to intubation and anesthesia. Thank you very much. We're coming right back to our brother minister, Dr. Henry M. Carter, King Henry's Turkey Legs right here in Atlanta, Georgia. Brother Rashad Muhammad, COVID-19 Disinfecting Cleaning Services out of Chicago. My father's book, A Soldier in the Movement of Christ, AbdulSharif.com. And last but not least, my two books, Cleopatra, which is a children's book, and No Father, No Excuse, both of which are on Amazon. Okay, we'll right back to you, Brother Minister.
Okay. Brother Joshua,
Yes, sir.
I want to do two things while you're talking about ads. One is the flag in back of me. I said the map in back of me is the map of Africa.
Yes, sir.
We make them available. The maps are $20, but we need to study Africa because we may be going there sooner than we think. So, but this is a map of Africa, and we got a supply in right before the plague hit, and now all of that is closed down and the maps are available. Also, for those who don't have a copy of my book, Africa and the World, the book is available. The book is available, and you can get it by going online, allthingsafrica.store. That's allthingsafrica.store. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Go right ahead.
Yes, sir. And thank you. And we want to come to every country. I mean, well, not every country. We want to do a lot of the people that you met in those countries. And before we go into Africa, sir, as we go into Africa, what made you decide to write the book?
Because living in Africa for 12 years made me see that there was a part of Africa and the world that our people didn't know about. Jerry Rawlings, the late president of Ghana, invited Minister Farrakhan to open an office in Africa. And the minister appointed me. And it gave me an opportunity to travel all across Africa. Out of the 54 African nations, Allah blessed me to visit 44 of those nations. And I thought that it would be an opportunity in writing the books, and many of them were articles that I did in the Final Call newspaper, but to talk to our people about Africa, the history, the struggle of Africa. So that's how I was inspired to write the book. And we're in our fourth printing right now. Quite naturally, with the pandemic, sales of everything in books have slowed down because people are not allowed to gather. but the book is read in Africa. Orders that I get from African people that I know. Uh, I was in Liberia recently, and I ran into a brother, and he asked me did I happen to have any of my books. And if you're an author and you write a book, never travel without your book.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I happen to have 4 books in my bag. He said, I'll take all 4 of them. And that
Mm,
to me was a blessing because he wanted to share it with some other brothers, not only in Liberia, but back in Ghana.
beautiful. Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. And Brother Minister, I want to just let you know that Minister Jamil sends the greetings. My sister Naeem, my sister Minister Aisha from Phoenix. So many people in the comments, Brother Derek 3X, Brother Carlston. There's so many people showing you love from all across the country. And I can't wait to put this on YouTube. People are saying beautiful. They're thanking you, and they look forward to reading your book as well. There a lot of the guests that I interview, Brother Minister, um, mention Africa. And for people like myself and many others, we, based off of television, and there might be a breakdown of wanting to go to Africa because we don't know if it's like America. Can you tell us some of the good of Africa that will maybe make people want to visit Africa?
Right. I think that for the Africans in the diaspora, North America, the Caribbean, Central America, South America, millions of Africans, uh, descendants of Africa. And I would tell the delegations that Allah blessed me to take to Africa that you should have a desire to put your feet on African soil before God takes you. That's
Mm,
where we came from. And to be able to put your feet on that soil before you leave, because you didn't ask to come to America. We were brought here in the holds of slave ships. And so that's one thing I say to the brothers and sisters all the time. And being that the enemy has distorted Africa so much in our mind, he's polluted our minds with lies and half truths about Africa. And when I first got to Africa and I'd come back, brothers in the FOI would be welcoming me back to America. And they said, do you actually like it in Africa? Some of them, by what they had saw, they couldn't believe that. I told them I do like it. He said, well, how is it? I said, well, when the plane lands in Accra, Ghana, I'm coming from America, uh, I take out my swords, 2 swords, and cut off the head of snakes uh, before I head to my house. And before I go to my house, I jump on the back of a giraffe that rides me home to my house. And the brothers were standing, and most of them had their mouths open. I said, brother, that's the distorted picture that the Europeans and the white Americans give us Africa. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. There's so much for you to see. The warmth of the people. You know, you got good and bad in all groups, but the beauty of Africa and to be able to visit it. So I encourage you, if circumstances change in the world, and we do pray that it will change, that you will be able to make a historic trip to the African continent.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. And once again we have a few talking points dealing with Africa and some of the great leaders that you have met and got to work with. But I want to ask you, what was it after 1975 that made you um, work with the Most High Missiles Farrakhan to rebuild the nation again? Like, what was it about you that made you want to make that journey?
Well, I think first of all, I was blessed to get to know Minister Farrakhan, not from a distance, but to know him by his work, his concern with our people, his kindness, uh, being a truthful brother. And when we were in Mecca and he was looking at the condition of the people, and in his heart, he could, you could feel him in his heart wanted to carry on the work of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And just knowing him, and he made that decision, and he came to St. Louis. He talked to me about it. Took very little talk, because I was really ready.
Yes,
I had
sir.
worked with him long enough in New York, and I felt that this is going to help our people. And he is the person that can do it. No doubt that Allah has blessed him with the mind, the spirit, and the heart. So I was on board. And if I could help him in any way, I was ready to do that. And I thank Allah for the move that he encouraged us to make to rebuild the work of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and go after saving the souls of our folks in America and throughout the world.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. And we're grateful that you decided to make that decision. Was it out of all the places that you traveled, being in New York, being in St. Louis, and then of course traveling abroad, being a world traveler, have you ever faced fear? And if so, how have you overcome that fear?
Well, I want to say this. Uh, People have fear, and God gives you that as a part, and it helps you. It warns you. I didn't have that kind of fear. I was happy to be a part of it.
Mm,
I wasn't thinking about nobody will run up on me and kill me and shoot me or beat me down. I didn't think like that. I thought that God had blessed us with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and his work was to redeem our people,
yes, sir.
and that we could be a part of that we could be in that business of redemption and help our people. So I didn't think about fear. I never thought about some brothers from another Muslim community going to find me, or I didn't think that way. And I thank Allah that I didn't. And I went on to help our minister in every way I could to rebuild the nation.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. Well, Brother Minister, there's a television show called The Godfather of Harlem, which I follow very closely, and it's coming back for the third season coming up, and they're going to deal with Malcolm X's assassination, and then, of course, what happens afterwards. When you were in New York and the Most Honorable Mr. Farrakhan's house was firebombed, and it's and like you said, it was a tense environment. How were you all able to win the hearts of the people, especially in New York, after such incidents?
Well, we don't know who firebombed Malcolm's house. And we were able to, in opposition to the enemy, we were able to win hearts because of the type of man that we had in front of us, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. He went to small venues, he went all over the city, he talked to people, he didn't turn invitations down saying that's dangerous over there, they don't like us, not one bit.
Mm,
He went everywhere that he was invited that I know of when I was with him.
yes,
Uh,
sir.
and he went there to win the hearts of the people with the work of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And even though the enemy continued to blame us, just like recently, uh, the police set up people during the time of Malcolm to use them to kill Malcolm, actually, and then to blame it on the nation as they have been doing.
Yes, sir.
But we didn't have that kind of fear of it. And the fact that the minister was out there pumping that truth, talking to people, you know, I often tell the story and I repeat it to the minister sometime. Cornell University, the students had been fed a diet of hate against the Nation of Islam and Minister Farrakhan in particular over the life and the death of Malcolm.
Mm, mm,
And Minister Farrakhan went there to a hostile audience, and Allah blessed him to win them over. I mean, if we had the technology that we could have filmed that, they were cold as ice. And the minister went on, and as he talked, he broke through it. He warmed them up. And eventually, by the time he finished that unbelievable lecture, they were on their feet applauding him. And they came down. We were in a like a lab class, held about 200 people, and they all converged on him down front. It was just a sight to see. And so the enemy is still working that game with these movies that are coming out. But the thing that we have to look at is that now that the man who the police set up, who had a deathbed wish, and he asked his family not to reveal it until he passed. And then when he passed, they did reveal it,
Yes,
but they
sir.
made no issue out of it. They didn't say that here's a man who tells the story of how he was set up by the New York police with Malcolm, and to say that we killed Malcolm, to blame it on us. And this man wanted to get the record straight. And he didn't want to do it while he was alive because of his family and his loved ones. But once he was gone, he wanted to make sure that that record was clear. So this is the unbelievable work of our minister. And he just keeps going. And the people who at one point didn't like him, these same people, because of his work and his love and what he was doing, they actually fell in love with Minister Farrakhan, changed their position, and they could see the hand of the enemy trying to make it appear as if we were the ones that killed Malcolm X.
Beautiful. Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. And thank everyone who's watching the People's Podcast. And I want to make sure I thank you again, Minister Akbar, for your sacrifice and your willingness to stand up during those times. And then today, all the way up until today, we salute you for that, sir. My next question for you is the Million Man March. How was that perceived around the world, and how did it personally impact you, sir?
Well, it impacted me because I saw the minister's ability to draw uh, or nearly 2 million. I was getting ready to say 2 million, nearly 2 million, maybe more than 2 million people.
Yes, sir.
They
Yes, sir.
came from everywhere because, he organized the march. He moved around the country, going to city to encourage our brothers at a very critical time in our history. And he was able to bring all of those people to Washington, D.C. The Million Man March impacted mostly every black man and American black men and women throughout the world.
Yes, sir.
Even those who didn't have a great love and didn't have a proper perspective on Minister Farrakhan in the nation, that march changed their mind and made them take what I call a second look. And for him to draw those people out and for him to deliver that unbelievable message, and all of those brothers, no fighting that day. The mall was left clean. And even though the enemy was upset about it, there was nothing he could do because these people showed great respect and love for the minister and tried to clean up the mess that white America had made out of the black man and woman. This brother, Minister Louis Farrakhan, came forward to clean that mess up. And he showed that dynamic with the Million Man March.
Beautiful. Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. Okay, well, Brother Minister Akbar, there's something that's trending on Netflix right now. It's a documentary, and it's called I don't want to misquote the title, but it's dealing with what they call tyrants around the world. It's how to become a tyrant. And they have Idi Amin, they got Muammar Gaddafi on there, and all of these people that if it wasn't for my study of history and through the lens of course, my parents and through you and the Most High Missiles Farrakhan, I would be confused about. I would wind up not liking these people based off of this documentary. Can you tell us some of the good work that Muammar Gaddafi did for the people of Libya and in Africa, and with your personal experiences with him?
Right. It was a terrible documentary. I saw it,
Oh, you saw it? Yes, sir.
and what they wanted to do with how to become a tyrant. And what are they going to do? Teach people how to become a tyrant? But the way that they showed Muammar Gaddafi, the the way that they showed even Idi Amin and all of the people that they did not like and did not like their politics, they showed them all as a villain. Muammar Gaddafi, starting with Muhammad Ali, that's where it started. He loved Muhammad Ali, and it was Muhammad Ali who went to visit him, and they were able to get a loan from Muammar Gaddafi for our mosque in Chicago. And Muammar Gaddafi, after he met Minister Farrakhan, he was in love with the minister. The minister was his brother. He helped us travel throughout the world. He set up meetings with different leaders throughout the world. And when we traveled around the world, it was Muammar Gaddafi and the World Islamic Call Society that helped the Nation of Islam in those unbelievable journeys throughout the world. And just like Idi Amin, Idi Amin wanted to help the nation. Idi Amin was the one that invited the Honorable Elijah Muhammad to one of the first Islamic conferences held on the African continent in Morocco. And Idi Amin was a brother who saw the good of the nation and the love of the minister and the respect of the minister. And so they want to make them look like terrible villains, but they never talk to you or me or show us the good that these individuals were able to do, not at all. So we have to look at that and examine what they say and then look at the truth and the reality of the real picture.
Praise be to Allah. Brother Minister, we just have two more questions for you, sir. What do you do for fun?
I didn't hear the question. Say it again.
What do you do for fun?
For fun, he said?
Yes, sir.
Read books.
Okay, yes, sir. Yes, sir. And my last question.
But there's a lot of things. I love documentaries.
Mm,
Matter of fact, I told Adima, I was just looking at one on Egypt, unbelievable, on the Science Channel, I think it is. But I love to travel. Matter of fact, they were asking me how I'm feeling. I said, I'm not feeling the best. If they keep me in this house any longer, you'll have to send me to another kind of hospital.
yes, sir.
But
Yes, sir.
I love to travel.
Yes, sir. Last question, Brother Minister. What do you want your legacy to be?
I don't think about it like that.
Mm,
I want my legacy is for my family, the nation that I love, and that I have done the very best that I could in the time that Allah has given me on the earth. I'm not looking for, I want my legacy to be this. I want to do good and let the chips fall where they may. And if there's some good that I have done that people will say, thank you, Brother Akbar, for that, that's enough for me. Thank you for that question. I thank you for having me on the show. Uh, I'm not in 100% good health, so I want to come back and do another kind of show for you. Uh,
please.
what's happening with the young people in the street today, music and what music means for us as a people.
Yes, sir.
So, inshallah, as my health improves, I do want to do that, Brother Joshua, for you. And may Allah bless you with this show. Keep it going. Don't let no pebbles get in your way that will cause you to fall, but keep going, brother. And may Allah bless you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all for watching. This is Joshua Leonard Muhammad signing off for the People's Podcast. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Minister.
Wa alaikum salam.
Thank you very much again.